am Sue Webley. Welcome to another episode of Inspire. Good morning to you, one and all. Welcome to another episode of Inspire. Why is my name? Listen, this is why I'm so glad that we are all family here, because where's my name? Okay, there it is. Hey, I see y'all coming in. Thank you so much for joining us today, especially those of you who are popping in from the West Coast as our guest. And listen, our guest is on vacation, and she is hanging out with me this morning. So I often say, if you're coming in from the West Coast or even the Midwest, listen, and it's early in the morning, I know you love me because you're hanging out with me. So if you are coming in on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on YouTube, and on Twitch, we're streaming to Twitch for the first time today. So, let's see what happens. A lot of people think that Twitch is just for gamers, and I've discovered that it has a lot of entertainment stuff on there too. So hey y'all on Twitch, if you are on Twitch and you're hanging out, please shout yourself out so I can shout you out. Okay, but if you're coming in on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, on Twitch, thank you. I am not sure what is happening with Instagram. Instagram will not connect this morning. The devil, it won't connect. So if you know anyone who usually watches it on Instagram, and they're saying like, hey, we can't find it, please tell them to come on over to either Facebook or going over to YouTube, or if you're having to be on Twitch or on LinkedIn. Let me see who's joining us. I see it. Listen. Good morning. Hey, Bishop Bonnie. Listen, I just said it. Hey, Bishop Bonnie. I just told my guests, like, we're coming in from the West Coast. Yeah, I know you love me. I know you love me, Bishop Bonnie. Thank you so much for joining me. Quita, my love, thank you so much for joining me on your way to the airport if you're not there already. But if you are just coming in, if you've just stumbled upon this broadcast, if you were invited by our guests and you don't know who I am, what Inspire is all about, I am your host, Sue A. Webley. I'm an author, producer, an award-winning minister, and entrepreneur, and I believe in the power of words, wisdom, and witness. Hey, Minister Sandy, good morning to you. And that's exactly what Inspire is all about. So every Saturday morning that we are live at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we host space for honest, soulful, and often transformative conversations with guests from all walks of life, y'all. All walks of life. Entrepreneurs, artists, thought leaders, organizers, and everyday people who are living boldly and authentically. We explore topics that matter, from mental health and identity to faith, business, justice, creativity, and healing. So whether we're spotlighting community leaders or celebrating personal triumphs, Inspire is rooted in the power of story and the belief that when we speak our truth, we light the way for others. Thank you. All right. Listen, the California folk are here. I want to invite you, before we get with our guest this morning, I want to invite you to connect, follow, like, and subscribe. So if you've been following me on Carrot Solutions LLC since our inception, thank you so much. I appreciate you. But we are building up the Inspired with Sue W platform. And so I want to invite you to follow us on Facebook and on Instagram. At Inspired with Sue W. If you want to follow me directly, you just find me at Sue A. Webley everywhere. Alternatively, I want to invite you to visit our website at www.getinspired.live. There you can watch all of our previous episodes, find out about more about the show, and subscribe to our newsletter, because guess what? There's a whole bunch of things going on and we don't want you to miss it. Okay, so I invite you to do all of those things. Now I see some of you on, and you know the question I'm going to ask. Ms. Pearlie, I hope you got something in your cup, because I'm going to ask you what you're sipping on in a minute. But let me know, family, what you got in your cup this morning. What you sipping on? Now y'all know. I have to have, the Inspired cup. But I have coffee. Y'all know I have coffee in my cup. It's decaf because I love coffee, but the caffeine don't love me. Amen. So it's decaf coffee with some caramel almond creamer that's in my cup. So let me know what you're sipping on this morning. And I promise that these cups are going to be on the website. I promise they're going to be on there soon. Okay. And Miss Pearlie, you're going to get one of these cups as a thank you for being with us today. Okay. So listen, what are you sipping on? The cup asks you what you're sipping on. So whatever it is, it's good. Let me take a sip, and y'all tell me where you're watching from if you haven't already done so, and what you're sipping on this morning. Let me see. Vitamin water. Hey, Chuck Hunt. Good morning from Monroe, Louisiana. You're such a support, Chuck. Thank you so much for joining in. Now, if you are watching and you haven't said anything, I can't shout you out. I like to shout people out on Inspire, okay? So please, please, please shout yourself out. Just let me know you're watching. Quita's watching from Nashville, Tennessee. All right. As you are watching and sharing, make sure you share. I want you to share this broadcast because I'm excited about our guests this morning. I'm excited to have her joining us, Miss Pearlie joining us this morning. And so, as they say in the church, we're not going to belabor the time. Belabor the time because I'm so excited to have Miss Pearlie Blackmon Cotton. Doesn't that name just rings in your ears, doesn't it? It's like that name should be on a book. It should be on some marquee somewhere. That it's a perfect name for an editor-in-chief, Miss Pearlie. Okay, Pearlie Blackmon Cotton, all right, is hanging out with us today. And today's conversation is really around faith, right? The kind that holds steady when life does not. Is about learning to stand in the storm and still see beauty on the other side. And given what the state of our world, the state of our country, the state of our political climate, we need to lean into faith, right? We need to lean into our faith. So many women, I shared last week that over 300,000 Black women have been pushed out of the workforce, right? And back in April alone, I believe it was like 150,000, right? There's so many of us who are now, facing losing benefits, having to pay more for health insurance. I mean, there's the poor are being targeted, immigrants are being targeted, Black and brown folk are being targeted. We are in tumultuous times. And even though we know how to survive, right? As a people, survival is just embedded in our DNA. We know how to get together. We know how to become a village. We know how to take care of each other. But still, if we're telling the truth, when we are going through something, our faith might get a little shaky. We might be like, okay, God, what's up? Right? What is going on? What's happening here? Right? And so we're going to have a real conversation about faith today. My guest today knows what it means to walk through loss and come out softer, stronger, and more surrendered. She's an author, a speaker, and the founder of NTHEKNOW magazine. I'm so excited that we're going to get to know all about that publication. It's a platform that uplifts voices and reminds us that even in our hardest seasons, purpose remains. And if you know me, you know that's exactly what I'm all about. So please join me in welcoming the amazing Pearlie Blackmon Cotton. Good morning, Miss Pearlie. Oh, you are muted.
There we go.
Yeah, there we go. Good
That
morning.
mute button has power. How are you? Good
Yes, it does. There's
morning.
some things in our lives that we need to mute too. So but that's a whole nother. That's some people we need to
Oh
put
God.
on mute. Amen.
Right.
Good
Hmm.
morning to you. Thank you for joining me on vacation.
Good morning. Yes, I am on vacation out here living.
You better live. So tell the people where you are
Yes.
joining us from and what you're doing out there.
So I'm good morning, everyone. I'm actually joining you guys from Las Vegas, Nevada this morning. Actually, I'm here for the HBCU Classic with Jackson State and Grambling State today. So I'm out here. Look, I love myself some Southern football and band. That's me. So I'm here for it today.
Oh
Yes.
yeah, well, yeah, we so appreciate that you're hanging out with us from vacation, right? But I'm excited,
Yes.
also excited about our conversation. What do you have? Something you have something in your cup? You have something in your bottle? What you sipping on this morning, Miss Pearlie?
So if you know, you know, and anybody that know me is going to get a good laugh out of this. Y'all, I'm drinking water, believe it or not. So water, yes.
What do you
Listen,
usually
if
drink?
they know, usually I'm drinking coffee or actually Starbucks. Yes,
Okay.
strawberry acai normally. But today I'm drinking water, so I'm being
Okay. Well,
good.
what
Yeah.
water is good.
Yes.
Amen. Water
It's
is
good for
good.
you.
I, and I know I need to drink more of it, right? Like, listen, I'm not.
Oh
I'm not
my
gonna
God.
sit on here and lie. I know. I
Sue,
used to tell people there's water in coffee,
Sue, that's an
but
inside joke because people know I do not like water. So I'm drinking it today though. Mm-hmm. Yep.
so Miss Pearlie, I want to hear, and we want to hear, our inspired audience wants to hear all about your story. And so we know that it is one that is that's rooted in faith, that's rooted in resilience. And can you share a little bit of your background, share a little bit of your story with us this morning?
Okay, yes, yes, yes. So, just a little bit about me. I am a 5 year widow, and I'm walking this thing out. You know, it's been a journey. I can say that it's truly been a journey. But you know what? You said a key word: faith. Faith
Mhm,
is what seals it for me. Um, so, what I'm doing right now, I'm retired. I've been retired for approximately 4 years, and
mhm,
I got inspired to. This is not my first rodeo with In the Know magazine. So I started back in 2016. And of course, you know, COVID hit. And so when COVID hit, a whole lot of things, you know, got thrown out of whack. But I was inspired by, and a lot of people may not know this, and I'm not throwing in a shameless plug, but I got inspired a couple of months ago by the Faith Room. The Faith Room is a podcast with the host of Pastor Nate and out of San Diego, and Pastor
mhm.
Cherie Evans out of Little Rock. She's the co-host, and so I was, you know, in a space. And I was thinking, what am I gonna do? What, life is moving, so it's time to, get up and be about it and stop talking about it. So I decided, to dive back into some things that I had going, prior to COVID. But as far as me myself, I'm so blessed because I've entered a season of healing. And let me tell you something. Healing brings about peace. There is nothing like peace. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
That's,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
just a little bit about me of where I am, and what I'm doing right now. Mhm.
Hmm. Thank you for sharing. So, when
Yeah.
did you first realize that your voice and your story could become a source? And you talked about healing. So, when did you realize that your
Mhm.
voice and story could become a source of healing for others?
So I kind of realized that, to be honest, in an early age, it's something that I always wanted to do. For some reason, I don't know, that's just a thing, something I always wanted to
Mhm,
do. But here's where my voice really became an instrument is when I became a widow. Because what
mm,
happened is I had to go through this process of finding out who I was, what I liked to do, what was important to me, who was important to me. So I really had to do an about face and really figure myself out. And so once I
Yeah.
did that, I was able to, really authentically be me. And what I
Yeah.
mean by that is becoming a widow, I was able to speak with other, widows that I'll put it this way. I think this thing, not even think, I know this happened to me for a reason. A lot of times we always say, oh, I wonder why this happened to me. This was my purpose. This happened to me for a reason. So what I've done, in the process of that, I hook up with a lot of widows and I'm able to really talk to them about being a widow, because you can't talk to
Mhm.
people about something that you haven't experienced or something that you
Right.
haven't done. So when you've actually been introduced to that, then you can speak on it. So when I speak to women, I speak to them about, what I have gone through, where I am with it, and what I experienced doing it. So that's, kind of, kind of, where I'm at with that. But yeah, it's truly, truly, truly has been a journey, and I'm excited. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And we're excited for you. We're excited for you as well. And so you talked about
Mm-hmm.
this loss, becoming a widow, and of course, even if those who are watching and who will catch this in replay have not been widowed, have not lost someone that they loved, or someone close to them, there are so many layers of loss, right? When I mentioned earlier about
Mm-hmm.
Black women losing their jobs, right? Losing their
Right.
livelihoods, losing their ability to help take care of their families, and so many others. You losing benefits,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Yeah.
losing good health, losing a limb, right? So there's so many
Mm-hmm.
ways of navigating loss. And so what would you say helped you keep going when the weight of that loss felt
Wow.
heaviest?
Wow. That's a powerful, loaded question, because um, it's not that I didn't experience it or go through it. I would say it's the process. There's a process, no matter who you lose, or how you lose, or whatever the case may be. There is a process,
Mhm.
and that process kind of looks like this. So it happens. You have to, you get that experience, no matter, like I said, who it is or what it is. It happens, and then you have to figure out how you're going to deal with it, how you're going to go through it, and how you're going to come out of it. Because if you do not allow yourself to go through the process, you're going to end up being stagnated and stay right where you are. And so, what I had to do after this happened with me, so I'll share. Let me stop right there, and I'm going to put a pin in it and just share a little
Mhm.
something. So, when this happened to me, I was devastated. I must
Mhm.
say that. I was devastated. I became I went from a wife to a widow overnight. And
Yeah.
so this changed my entire world. I, was in the process of getting ready to retire, and I was thinking, oh, getting ready to do this. My husband and I were getting ready to go on vacation, all of this. And so that it stopped I literally, my life went on pause for 2 years. And I'll say this, for 2 years, I literally did not know if I was going or coming. And I missed 2 full years of my life. And I'll say that because it was
Miss
a
Pauly,
real time.
stop. I hate to do this to you. I hate to interrupt you. Your sound has gone out a little bit. So I'm not sure why. It's probably just the Wi-Fi waves. So I don't know if, because we want to hear this. Like, this is important
Yeah, the devil's
for us to
eye.
hear. And so
Okay.
I would even invite you, if it's possible, you want to go out and come back in, because and maybe that will fix the issue. And
Okay,
I'll
let's
just talk
try.
to the people while you, yeah. Go ahead and come back in. You need to hear what you have to say. What you have to say is important. So we'll see you when you jump
Okay.
back in. Okay.
All right, let's try that. Uh-oh. You can't hear me now?
Oop, no. Yeah, you got to come all the way out. Go all the way out of the studio
Let's go.
and then sign back in and see if that helps. All right, listen, technology, y'all. Yes, I know, Chuck. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I have to tell people before you hear it, I hear it 20 seconds before you do. So, trust and believe that we are working on it. So we're gonna hang out, hang tight until Miss Pearlie comes back. Hey, Joy, Pastor Joy. It's so good to see you. Thank you for joining in. Let me read what Chuck said. Chuck says Grambling is from my home area of Louisiana. It's 33 miles west from me on Interstate 20 in Northeast Louisiana. Listen, one thing about Chuck is gonna educate. Okay, Chuck says my father played trumpet in the marching band in the early to mid 1960s. Wow, what history, Chuck. My mother is a 1968 graduate of Grambling and a retired high school teacher in Monroe, Louisiana. Thank you for sharing that history with us, Chuck. I do so love when you come on and hang out with us and you share stuff. Yeah, we're waiting for Miss Pearlie to come back. But I do want to hear from you, those of you who are hanging out with us right now. Um, we're talking about part of what we're talking about is faith, and the other part is dealing with loss, navigating loss. So what I said earlier about so many layers of loss, what is your experience with it, right? What have you lost that you had to navigate through, that you had to lean into your faith to get to healing? And again, it's not just a loved one, right? Any type of loss. Miss Pearlie is back. Any type of loss. So I want you to talk about that in the chat. Let me know in the chat how you've navigated some loss in your life, how you've leaned into your faith in those difficult times. Let me hear you, Miss Pearlie. Let me hear you.
Okay, can you hear
All
me?
right, listen.
All right. I
Sometimes
told
you just need a reset. Okay,
I
that's a whole
told that
nother.
old devil he was a lie. So anyway. So anyway, as I was saying, I don't know
Uh-huh.
how much they heard me before it started to go out, but what I was speaking about was the I had 2 years after my after the okay. After the loss of my husband, there were 2 years that I totally, lost those 2 years. And I literally, it was a mental thing. I couldn't, I really just couldn't hop back into like back into my regular life because life had really changed for me. I mean, truly changed. And so what I did was after the 2 years was up, I started praying about it and I was like, you know what? I have to come to reality. This is my reality now. This happened. Guess what? There's nothing that's going to change about it. So I had to make the change. I had to, say, okay, it's time for me to get up. And then, so what I started doing was I changed I changed the atmosphere a little bit. So I really had to get into like a positive environment around people that were positive, that was speaking positive. And so what I did was I said, you know what? I started noticing certain, ladies, and I noticed that they were, getting up and not just talking about it and, started being about it. And I was like, you know what? I would love to be a part of that. So along with that, I started listening to, inspirational podcasts and, inspirational pastors, along with, praying and all of that. But let me stop again and go back because one of the things that really helped me through my process, if people know, the people that really know me, they know I'm a person that love the water. I
Mhm.
love the sound of waves. I love all of that. So what I did after that 2 year, the first thing I did to start my process was I got up. I had finally retired. I would get up 4 to 5 days a week. I would go to the beach. There's a little beach called Coronado Beach in San Diego, by military base. I would go to the water 4 to 5 days a week. And this was my process of helping me, mentally and helping me, get my life back on track. I go out there by that water and God would always make it a way where it would sometimes just be me and me in the presence right there by myself. And I
Mhm.
would talk to God. I would, I mean, that was just my time of really spending time with God to really, get back on track, to really get my mind together, get my heart together, and all of that. And so once I did that, then that's when I started the process of getting around positive people, people that speaking positive things. It's enough, going on in the world right now without even thinking about being around somebody negative or talking about negative stuff. So that started my process, and I started to, see things different. And if you ever, I think this is just Pearlie's, you know, thinking, if you ever lose someone that's really close to you, you start to get a gratitude. You become so grateful about things, and then you start to realize the things that really matter to you, the people that really matter to you, and sometimes it's those people that you least expect. Because the people that you think is going to be there, most of the times they're not. And just being real and keeping it real. A lot of times, those people that you totally depended on and thought that they were going to be there for you once things like this happen, they're not. And no shade to them, because here's the thing: if you haven't been through it, you don't know what to do, say, or how to act. So you,
Mhm.
you really have to think upon those things and know that people don't mean harm. They just have never been down that road before, and they don't know what to do. So with that, just saying, my process has been, I always go back to the word of journey, because I'm still in the process. I'm just not where I used to be, but I've grown, I've matured, I've learned, I've listened, I've, had the time to do that. So I'm just, so grateful, just grateful. And my faith, oh my God, is a faith that probably would never waver again. And I can say that truly because God has been good to me. He's done some
Mhm.
amazing things for me, because I remember walking out of that hospital room when when my husband expired. I walked out there and I heard God so clearly. He said, "I got you. I will take care of you." And he hasn't missed a beat. Hasn't missed a beat. Hmm.
Man, that's so good to hear. Near the end of that, the sound was kind of doing this thing, but I understood everything that you said. So we're gonna just keep going. I don't want you to have to. I don't want to have you to have to kind of jump out and jump back in. Thank you so much for sharing that part about your journey, and how you navigated the passing of your husband. And we know that October, right, is Emotional Wellness Month. And so, what better time to kind of talk about, uh, how to navigate those losses in our lives. What have you learned? Because you mentioned peace earlier. What have you learned about protecting your peace and nurturing your emotional health through this time?
Okay. Can you hear me? Because I do hear that little static. But it's
Yeah,
still
now I can't hear you at all. It's like, Ah,
okay. Ah, see, the devil don't want me to tell this
try
story. That's
turning your yes. I know Chuck said it's probably the Wi-Fi. Yeah, it's probably the Wi-Fi where you are. Are you on your own phone's Wi-Fi, or are you on the hotel Wi-Fi?
I am actually on the hotel Wi-Fi.
You're on
Mm-hmm.
the hotel Wi-Fi. You might do better with just your phone.
Okay, so let's see here.
Let's see if that helps.
Let's try the settings.
And while we're working that out, y'all, listen, the questions I'm asking Miss Pearlie, you feel free to answer them as well. How do you protect your peace? Right? How do you nurture your emotional health? Um, Especially like during this emotional wellness month. There's so many awarenesses, right? So breast cancer awareness, domestic violence awareness, emotional awareness, ADHD awareness, right? So there's a lot of awareness days happening in October. And so yeah, that's the question. Like how do you protect your peace when you're navigating stuff? Let me know. Put it in the chat while Miss Pearlie is working it out. Let me see, Miss Pearlie, if you turn your, I mean, it's okay if you have to turn your camera off. Let me see if that helps
Okay,
yeah, let me see if
let's see.
that helps the sound a little bit.
How is that?
That's a little better. Did you turn off the hotel Wi-Fi?
Yes, and
Okay.
it's, yeah.
I think it sounds good.
Okay. Okay. Well, it's okay if y'all can't see me. I'm fine.
Now we
It
can,
ain't about me.
we could try turning the camera on now since you're on your own, since you're on your phone. So
Look,
turn it back on
it
and let me
really
see if
ain't.
it helps.
Okay, it's really not about me. It's the message. So,
Yeah. So
okay.
yeah. So Miss Pearlie, how do you protect your peace? How do you nurture
Oh,
your emotional health?
oh my God. So that right there is so important. So what I've learned in this journey is that a lot of times you have to learn yourself and learn how to navigate by yourself sometimes. It's good to have your circle, and I do have my circle, which is I can count on one hand. But you have to learn you, and you have to learn, what you like, what you don't like, what you want to do, what you don't want to do, and come to grips with that. Because here's the thing. My peace is so important to me these days. And I think also it's a maturity thing as you get older.
Mhm.
That's one of the things that you grasp onto, because peace is man, let me see how I want to say this. My peace is the way I find peace is that I find peace in doing things that is going to enhance me versus tear me down or get me into a stressful mode. I don't want to be stressed about anything if I can help it. So I find things or I get involved in things that is going to, take away the stress or take away, thinking about things that I really, don't want to be bothered with. Like for me, peace is I'm part of a line dance group. That to me is so peaceful. When I get in there and I start moving around, it's like the world don't even exist. So, and not only that, my peace come with spending time with, my grandchildren. Again, it's about doing the things that matter. That's where that peace come from. The things that matter to you, the things that's going to make you happy, the things that I had my niece the other day, which is really funny, and I don't know if she's watching this. She said, my girlfriend called me and she said, my daughter she called me and she specifically said this. I said, what did she say? She says, I don't know what's going on with Auntie, but she sure is happy these days, laughing and just enjoying herself. No, there's something behind that. I think she got somebody. I said, girl, let me tell you his name. His name is Peace. That's what I told her. I said, so peace to me is just being happy, relaxed, enjoying, living life and not letting life live you. So that's what I've learned to do to keep my peace. Just like I I wouldn't have jumped up and made a decision like, okay, you know what, I'm going to the HBCU Classic by myself. I'll go to a dinner table and I'll go out and eat and say, table for one. I have no problem with that because now I am truly at peace. I've gone through the process. And like I say, the process is still going on, but I'm not where I used to be. I'm so far
Mhm.
ahead of the game, and I thank God for that. So I've learned that peace is everything. Oh my God, it
Yeah,
is.
yeah. Thank you so much
Mm-hmm.
for sharing. Chuck says that's wonderful feedback from your niece.
Yes,
But
she
is this
noticed.
something like when other people can see that
Exactly.
there's a difference, there's a change, right? Um,
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
and don't get me wrong. The thing
right.
is, I truly, truly miss my husband. I do.
Mhm,
But
mhm,
God has sustained me. He has taken care of me. And when I tell you, when people see me smiling, it's not because I don't have issues. I don't, or the problems don't come. It's because I've decided on what's going to give me peace and what I'm going to tolerate and what I'm going to accept. So, yeah, I still
it's
have
a
the same challenges that
decision.
everybody else have. Oh, yeah.
Whew, that was good for me. It's a
Mm-hmm.
decision.
Yeah, it's a
You have to
decision.
decide, right?
Absolutely.
You
Yeah.
have to decide, like I'm going to, it just reminds me of when Jesus asked me, will you be made whole? Like it was the man's decision, right?
Yeah.
Jesus could
That's
just went and
it.
healed and did what Jesus does, but the question
Hmm.
was, will you be made whole?
Absolutely.
Right? So you have
Yes.
to decide.
You
It
have
is
to
really it is.
decide.
I love it. Ooh, I love it.
Yes.
And
Hmm.
Akita, if you're watching, we need a T-shirt that says "Live life, don't let life live you." Live
Come
you.
on. That's it. That's it. That's it.
We need that. We need those words and blazing
Yes.
on something.
Mm-hmm.
Live
And
life. Don't
that's
let.
called wisdom. That's
Yeah,
wisdom. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah. Because we do. Listen, when we're going through it, we kind of just let life take over,
That's right.
right?
Yeah.
Because life be life, and we want life to
Like
take over.
that's it.
But we get to make a different choice, right?
That's
And
right.
making
That's
that
it.
choice isn't easy, right, Miss Pearlie? It's not an
Right.
easy
That's
choice.
it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
what
yeah,
you
yeah.
make of it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah, because sometimes it's easy just to kind of to wallow
Yeah,
in it.
exactly.
But the hardest thing to do when you are and you know you mentioned earlier about people people around you, right? So community is
Mm-hmm.
very important
Yes.
in the healing process, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh
Because
yes.
we will say many of us, and well, I'm going to talk about myself. I will self isolate. I will isolate in a minute if I'm
Mm-hmm.
going through. You're not going. I mean, you don't hear from me in general because
Mm-hmm.
ADHD and out of sight, out of mind. It's not. It's really. It's not. It's It's not that I don't love you. It's just
Right.
It's one of those.
Mm-hmm.
It's object permanence.
Mm-hmm.
But when you go through, it's really easy to draw back,
Exactly.
right? I don't want to bother anyone with my
Mm-hmm.
issues. I don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to keep talking about it. I just kind of want. The hardest thing to do is to get up from that place.
Oh,
The
it
hardest
is.
thing to do
Ooh.
is to reach out to someone, right? The hardest thing to,
Listen.
and so it's like it's a tough decision to make,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And as
It is.
uncomfortable as it is,
Mhm.
right? You
And
got to
here's
do.
another thing, Sue. I'll say this. And this is something I got, from my inspiration of the faith room, is do it scared. You have to do
Yeah,
it scared. I mean, because if you don't do it at all, you're stuck. And who
yeah,
wants to be stuck? So it's either you do it scared or you don't do it at all and you stay
yeah,
where you are. So
yeah.
I've decided, even, and we'll probably get into this, even with, launching a magazine, I knew what the heck I was doing. But I knew it
Mhm,
was something that God had put on my heart to do. And
yeah.
so when God gave me the vision, I was like, oh my God, how am I going to do this? What is this going to cost? And, it was a lot. And I was talking myself out of the blessing that God had already said, I want you to do. So I had to stop and say, girl, look, get off of that and go ahead and do what God had. And, ooh, okay, go. I ain't going to go there until you go there. But anyway,
Well, listen, I feel like we need to go there. Talking yourself
listen.
out of the. Don't we
Listen,
do
you will
that?
talk yourself out of a blessing
You
that
sure
God has
will.
set for. And let me tell you this. So when I originally I was thinking, like, oh, should I do this? It's gonna take up a lot of my time. But that was one of the reasons I went to the water, because I go to the water to talk to God, to hear clearly.
Mhm,
That's
mhm,
where I
mhm.
get my inspiration. That's where I get my answers and all of that. So I was talking to God, and God said to me, go forth. And let me tell you, and what this is how I knew it was of God. See, a lot of stuff we'll take and say, oh, God told me to do this, God told me to do that. I specifically asked God, God, if this is if this is for me to do, not for me to shine or not for it to be about me, but if this is for me to do, make my way easy. Let me
Mhm,
tell you
mhm.
something. God, everything I needed, God put he put it there without me having to ask, without me having to struggle to get it. It would come my way, and I would look up to the sky and say, "Okay, God, you showing out." Because I mean, He would just make stuff happen. I mean,
Mhm,
out of the blue, and that told me right then and there, this is a God's project. It has nothing to do with Miss Pearlie. I'm just the person He used as the instrument to do
mhm,
what it was that He wanted done. So it has nothing to do with me. And I always say that that's one of my, that was in my mission statement, is that it's a platform for those that don't have a mouthpiece. A lot of people have testimonies. They've gone through stuff. They've been through stuff. But no one will ever hear it because we're so inspired about what Hollywood and what the stars have to say.
yeah,
No shade to them. But what I'm saying is, there's so many people that have gone through so many things, and what we do is they don't have a way to express or to help somebody else, because really it's helping somebody else when you tell your story about what has
mhm,
happened to you and how you got through it, or whatever. So I'm really just an instrument. This has nothing to do with Miss Pearlie, but just to
Mm.
go forth and use who God has put in my path or put in my mind or put on my mind and in my heart to give a platform to. Yeah.
Wow, wonderful, wonderful. I love it. I love it. We're gonna take a break. We're gonna take a break and come back and
Okay.
want to talk. When we come back, I want to talk about In the Know magazine. So,
Okay.
so you can go ahead
Wonderful.
and take a sip of that water, Miss
Yeah.
Pearlie.
Oh, Lord Jesus. Yes. Mm-hmm.
We'll be right back. So, y'all, if you just joined us, we are in conversation with Miss Pearlie Blackmon Cotton, who is the founder and editor in chief of In the Know magazine, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. Let me just put that up there. That's the magazine, y'all. So I'm going to put it back up when we talk to her about it. But I do want to invite you to connect, follow, like, and subscribe. Again, we're on Facebook and Instagram at Inspired with Sue W. If you've been following from Cara Solutions LLC, thank you so much for your support as always. But we're building up the Inspired with Sue W platform. If you are watching on Twitch right now, because I think I see somebody watching. Hey, Twitch. Thank you for joining us today. Go ahead and leave a comment so I can shout you out. Thank you for joining us on Twitch. So you could also head over to our website at www.getinspired.live. You can view all of our previous episodes, find out a little bit more about the show, and also subscribe to our newsletter because we don't want you to miss a thing. How about that? If are you or someone you know on a mission to create change while inspiring others to do the same, we want to hear from you. I want to hang out with you on a Saturday morning in this wonderful virtual space. Okay, join me in the conversation on a future episode. Again, you can head over to the website www.getinspired.live, and you can click be our guest. Be our guest. You can fill out that intake form, and a member of our team will get back to you and secure your date. Okay, so that you can come hang out with me. Now, I haven't been doing this a lot, but I'm going to start doing it because, that's my baby, Cara Solutions. We help you navigate the digital space with confidence. Cara Solutions is a full-service digital agency specializing in helping our clients achieve their goals through consultation and training, content and social media management, graphic and web design, and live stream production. We're also going to add podcast production to that. So if you're interested in any of those services, please schedule a consultation. You can go to the website at www.cara-solutions.com, or you can email us directly at info@cara-solutions.com. Now, I'm going to do this every single Saturday that I'm live. Our sibling and community needs a kidney. So those of you who know her, you might know her as Pastor Yanni, Reverend Yanni, the Peace Pastor. Or if you don't know her, I'm introducing her to you. Okay. She needs a kidney and she's in search of potential donors who are fairly healthy, have the blood types A or O, the courage to commit to surgery and save her life. And she would love to share the safety measures with you. And I'm also going to add, if you know of an organization, if you know of a resource, if you know of a connection that you can send over, please send it. Please send it. You can send it to me, and I'll get it over to Yanni, or you can email her and her family directly at peacepeopleinc@gmail.com. That's peacepeopleinc@gmail.com, or you can head over to EmeryLivingDonor.org, fill out the survey, and enter her name, Ayana Davis. Let's do this thing in community, y'all. If you have a question, well, I'm going to bring back Miss Pearlie, and then we'll talk about In the Know. If you have a question for her, please feel free to post it. Let's get back to some more conversation with Miss Pearlie Blackmon Cotton. Welcome back, Miss Pearlie.
Yes, yes.
It's been such a joy. Yeah, it's been such a joy hanging out with you and talking with you this morning. So let's talk a little bit about In the Know magazine. And so this is how I came across you. I was scrolling through, and I shared this with you before we went live. I was scrolling through Instagram, and In the Know magazine popped up, that Instagram account, and I saw that shout out to Keita in Prize Possession was following you, and I immediately text Keita and said, "Is she your client?" And I said, she said yes. And I said, okay, well, I have to have her on Inspired because in the No magazine, it just so fit with the Inspired ethos, right?
Hmm.
And so in the No magazine is everything Inspire is all about. And I love that name in the know because it feels like both a call and an awareness, right? But a
Hmm.
call to awareness and a call to action at the same time, right? So,
Yes.
can you tell us a little bit more? Tell us about the magazine, what inspired its creation, and what message do you hope readers will take from it? Let me throw that. So this is the issue that's getting ready. This is the issue that's out now, right?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yes.
I'm gonna put that. I'm gonna put the link in the chat while Miss Pearlie
Okay.
tells us about in the know. Go ahead, Miss Pearlie.
So yes, in the know, I kind of alluded to it just a little bit when I was talking a minute ago. But in the know, it started out pretty much like community, like for our
Mhm.
community, and so then I kind of my thinking went a little broader. So I was thinking, you know what, it just doesn't have to be about the community. It just doesn't have to be about San Diego because that's where I live and that's where I'm
Mhm.
based. I said this should go global, and I was thinking, you know what, because and it's funny that I named it in the know because really I wanted to say us, but that was a little bit too obvious. But really because in the know is really about us. It's about
Mhm.
us, our stories, to inspire other people, to make sure people are able to get you know, their stories out, in an authentic way, not about, hearing about somebody or whatever. Because what In the Know do is I am so grateful for Keita and for her team. I'll start calling names and I'll miss somebody, but I'm so grateful to them because they jumped onto the vision. I think Keita posted something and she said, "Oh, my client." Was saying she wanted to do a 60-page magazine. She said, "Oh, I wanted to hit the floor," and and she was like, "Oh my God!" But I was like, "You know what? If we're gonna do it, let's do it right." But
Yeah.
in the know, it I really want this magazine to inspire people to reach out to say, you know what, I want to tell my story. And what I want to say with that is not, everybody won't get a chance to tell their story, but there are some stories that need to be told. There's some stories that need to be heard. There's some things that, we need for people to uplift us with, I can, and when I look at people and I'm thinking about, putting them or, I can't think of the word I'm looking for right now, but featuring, that's the word
Yeah.
I'm looking for,
Mhm.
featuring them. I'm looking for the real deal about things. I love to see people transform right before my eyes. And just to throw in a quick little plug, the on the next edition of In the Know, this individual transformed right before my eyes and has a story to tell. And I encourage everybody to get it and read it and just dive into it. But I want to say this too about In the Know. I learned from my mistakes.
Mhm.
So, and it's so important to learn from your mistakes when you're, doing a business. No, no, it doesn't matter what type of business it is. Learn from your mistakes. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Slutty Vegan.
Yes.
Yes, and that's why I say God placed everything I needed when I needed it and when I needed to hear it. I
Mhm.
remember I was walking through the living room and I don't watch a lot of TV, but on the TV screen that particular day was Tamara Hall, and her guest was Slutty Vegan.
Mhm.
And what she said I needed to hear.
Yeah.
She said when you're doing a business or you're starting a business, small business, whatever type of business it is, be aware. She said, what we like to do as people is we like to hire our friends, we like to hire our family, we like to get, you know, all of them involved in what we're doing, which is not a problem. But you will run into a problem eventually because when you're doing business, you need to hire people that have the skill, the
Yes.
ability, that has, everything you need that's going to enhance. And not because you don't love your family, you don't love your friends or whatever. This is called business. And so you got to have the tools to help you get to where it is you're trying to go.
Right.
So I heard her say that. I was like, Wow, that was the biggest mistake I made when I launched the very first time. And so
Yeah.
I had to realize, you know what, I love everybody, but this is called business. And so you can lose a lot of money that way, and you could lose a lot of friends that way,
Yep.
and you could lose some family members that way. Because
Yeah.
I have one of the, and I'll shameless plug, I'll throw it in there. My son, Sammy, is one of the best graphic designers you ever want to run across in the US of the A. And
Mhm.
but he's busy. He has his own business, and so it put a strain on our relationship as us working together. And I said I would never do that again. So yeah,
Yeah.
you got to be mindful. You got to think. You got to be proactive. You got to have everything lined up. Excuse me, in order to move forward with a business. But in the know, I promise you guys, it is, I cannot stress this enough. It has nothing to do with me. I'm just the
Mm.
pusher. The in the know is about the people. It's getting, staying in the know about what's true enough, what's going on in the community or in any community. Because if you look at in the know is not just a San Diego based edition. There's individuals from everywhere, from Florida, from Chicago, from Tennessee, from Los Angeles. I mean, there's people that are featured in there. They're not just from San Diego. So
Mhm.
it's again, it's about us and us telling our stories and us inspiring people and just letting people know that, hey, I may have been down then, but look at me now. So,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. So great. Thank you for that sage business advice. And
Hmm.
yeah, I agree. That is, that's our first inclination. And the reason that's our first, well, there's a few reasons why that's our first inclination. But one of the main reasons that's our first inclination is that we believe that our friends and our family are going to be our major support system for us. And that's not always the case.
Correct. Correct. Correct.
That is
Absolutely.
not over, and it's it is heartbreaking, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, but nobody's gonna be as passionate about your baby as you are. And your family and your friends. I mean, they really do. For the most part, have your best interests at
Mm-hmm.
heart,
Yeah. Oh,
right?
absolutely. Absolutely.
Um, but there's that familiarity, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That yeah, it presents an issue, right? And
Yeah.
what's that word? Familiarity breeds contempt, right? It breeds
Yep.
some other things too, some other things
Oh,
too.
yeah.
So, um, and then we set ourselves up as for our other entrepreneurs, like we tend to set ourselves up for disappointment because we have
Right.
certain expectation. We have certain expectation of our family members. We
Mm-hmm.
have an expectation of our friends, right? And
Mm-hmm.
when they show up as anything as less than or under that expectation, like yeah, that hurt. That's a problem, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But if we
Yeah.
have that same expectation for a stranger, we're it, yeah, we'll be upset, but yeah, we could part ways, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. This
Mm-hmm.
isn't working for us, and so yeah,
Right.
thank you for your service.
Exactly.
Right. So that is such sage advice. Can you share with us before we because the last thing I want to talk about is a little bit of joy, right? We always talk
Mm-hmm.
about joy and
Mm-hmm.
inspire, but what are some of the listen? Nope, that's not what I ask you. I want to ask you uh how do you hold space? Because you're talking you are sharing, you're doing this magazine, you are sharing your stories, um you are encouraging and inspiring others. How do you hold space for other people and still make sure you don't lose yourself in the process?
That's good. Well, what I've kind of learned in this season, I have really learned boundaries. I've learned that I have to. Well, here's the thing, because what you really have to pay attention to is you cannot allow. Um, how do I want to put this? With me, what I've done is I've learned to balance. That's the word I'm looking for, is balance. I have to balance my life as where I give time to other people, I give time to my church, I give time to my family, but I cannot forget me because at the end
Mhm.
of the day, no one's going to take care of me but me. So I
Yeah.
have to make sure that I am, filled with whatever it is that I need in order to even give to them. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm,
So
mhm.
I've found balance. I've set boundaries that I'm not going to allow certain things to enter into my life. As a prime example, right now, I'm so I can say this because I used to couldn't say this before. I'm at a
Mm,
place in my life where I have peace, and I'm at a place where I'm not really interested in certain things, to enter into my space right now because I'm focused. I'm focused on, reaching some goals. I'm focused on doing some things that's going to enhance or help me in my
yeah.
future. So yeah, I have to find balance, and I enjoy life. Trust me. That's one of the things I learned, and I will always say this: life is just of course, it's part of the word. Life is a
Yeah.
vapor. And so you have to do the things right now while you can. Don't put it off because life is so short. And I'm a prime example of that, from going from widow to from wife to widow overnight.
Mhm,
My entire
mhm.
life flipped upside down. So yeah,
Yeah.
I press on making sure that I take care of me, making sure that I enjoy life. I love my family. I love my friends. I love, I love hard. And so I have set boundaries though around all that so that it won't kind of throw me off.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's so rich. Thank you so much for sharing. Now I want to end on joy.
Oh,
I want to
joy,
end on
joy, joy.
joy because joy
Listen.
is resistance, right? Joy is how
Yes.
we resist against everything that against life, right?
Oh,
Against
yeah.
against things that try to take us out.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what brings you joy? What brings you
Oh,
joy?
God. What brings me joy?
Yeah.
Real quick, I know we got to wrap it up, but what brings me joy is just, oh God, being able to just be authentically me.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to put on this facade of, of being something that you're not, or acting to be somebody, that you're not. I get joy out of honestly learning who I am. I enjoy my grandchildren. I enjoy my family. I enjoy my friends, my good friends. They keep me laughing. I promise. I laugh so much now. And that's another thing. Laughing bring me joy. I can
Mhm.
laugh now where I used to cry, or where I used to be sad, or whatever. But now I think about things. I'm like, you know what, girl, you may as well be happy. Look, enjoy life, because yeah, again, I have more years behind me than I do ahead of me. And I
Mhm.
think I told somebody the other day, I recently turned 60, and I said, you know what? And excuse my language, and hell is in the Bible. I said, I'm gonna enjoy the hell out of it. So moving forward, I'm going to just enjoy life. And that's what brings me joy. Joy is just getting out, experiencing new things, doing new things, and
Mhm.
meeting new people, meeting inspirational people, people that are going to bring that's going to add to my life and not take away.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. Ah,
Hmm.
Miss Pearlie, it's been such a joy having you join us today. It's been such a wonderful conversation. Those of you who are watching right now, or will catch us in the replay, the link to inthethnowmagazine.org is in the chat. Please, I encourage you to click on that link and subscribe to that publication. Let us support Miss Pearlie. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, thank you. Listen, my brother's just like 60 where. You look amazing.
Thank you. I love to laugh. I'm silly, so hey.
Hey, Chuck Jones,
Yes.
thank you for joining us. Chuck Hunt says it is great that she's there for Grambling and Jackson State to bring joy around people. Listen, and you have the
Yes.
right color on too. You have the right
Oh,
color
all right.
on. I had yellow on yesterday. It was like, oh my god, it's so bright. It made me feel good, and I don't know, but yeah, you have the right color on to bring joy as well. So thank you again for hanging out with me, for reminding us, Miss Pearlie, that faith really doesn't always, take the thing away. It doesn't take the pain away, right?
Right. It
Right.
doesn't. Mm-mm.
But it just,
It's what
I
you
think
do
it keeps
with
us
it.
alive
It's
enough
what you
to,
do with it.
yeah, yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely. And
yeah.
I'm
It gives,
honored, Sue. I want you
yeah.
to know I'm honored to be on here. This is great. I love what you're doing. I followed you. It's amazing. The word inspire just itself speaks for itself. Hmm.
Oh, thank you
You're
so
doing an
much.
amazing job. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. I
Mm-hmm.
appreciate that so much. I appreciate that so much. Um, yeah, thank you for also reminding us that you know, healing really is it's a choice.
Yes.
It's a decision.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Um, and you can heal as you go, right? Healing doesn't mean
Yes.
like it's yeah, I'm healed and it's all of a sudden gone, but sometimes you heal as you go. You
Exactly.
heal as you, right? So
Exactly.
for those of you who are trying to rush that process,
Yeah.
right? You're only gonna hit the wall. You're only gonna be disappointed, right? Stop rushing it.
Yeah.
Heal as you go. Today's
Yeah.
conversation spoke to your heart. Please let it remind you, as always, as well, because it is Emotional Wellness Month, that your emotional wellness matters, right? It's not
Yes.
selfish. It's not weak to heal, and it's not over because it hurts right now, right?
That's right.
You, it's not over because
Hey,
and live life. Don't let life live you.
and Sue, it gets greater later.
Yeah, I love it. It
Yep.
great gets greater later. We're gonna
Yep.
leave on that note. End on that note. Know that it gets greater later. Until next time, I want you to stay lifted. I want you to stay inspired. I want you to stay motivated. And most of all, I want you to stay inspired. I'll see you
Yes.
again next week.